everyone. Greetings to all the goddesses out there. Um, and thank you for coming in. We're gonna start talking about some stuff. Talking about some truths, some things that I have been needing to talk about. I've been feeling the push, the need to, and I'm just now feeling okay to. There's a lot of research that's well, not research, but there's a lot of studying, I guess, and just like refurbishing myself on what I'm going to be talking about that I need to do, which is what I've been doing. But um, we're gonna talk a little bit about this today, and then we're just gonna continue on with this and see where it goes, how it stands. Um, but uh, I've been getting the incredible pull. It's like every fiber of my body, every like tingle of my hair, what needs me to talk about it. And I know other people are talking about it, but it's like one thing that I guess I have to talk about too. But we're gonna talk about who Yakub uh, is. Um, and like what's going on with the whole thing. Hold on, let me see here. I had to type something in. But first off, I'm gonna start this off by saying, everyone is welcome here. There's no um, pushing of agendas. It is just doing digging research. It is facts. It is studying. It is knowledge that has been hidden. Um, it is history that needs to be told. It needs to be more aware of. So don't think that any sort of misconstrued messages being pushed, that is simply like an egoic way of thinking or a boundary. um so don't assume that what I'm saying is one thing or another. There is research, and I'm gonna be, after this, I'm gonna be linking some things in the description of this live as well, to help just steer you in a direction, for you to venture on this on your own. But we're going to begin and talk about who Yakub was. Um, and as we do this, we're going to add more and more. So, like, for the ones that know a lot about this, you're going to see me not talk about things. But we're going to get into it. But Yakub, also known as Jacob, was a black scientist who lived around 6,600 years ago and began the creation of the white race through grafting, which is a form of selective breeding, mainly seen in planting and gardening. This people might have just been discovering this, but I forgot which tribe it was. But this has been talked about forever throughout tribes, through the stories of cave people, or ice people, and the sun people. That whole story is basically talking about Genesis in the Bible, the whole thing that Yakub was doing. And uh the Yakub's in the okay, hold on, I'll have to, we'll worry about that later. That's further. Thank you, Spirit. Um but with um with knowing this, understanding that, um with the Mayan calendar, and also, just I forgot who it was, but there was like some dude that literally like took a day out of, I think, March and put it on February. But due to all the misconstructions of the calendar's not being aligned and everything, there's a lot of time that's missing. A lot of scientists struggle to find the missing link of humanity, because they're looking at it from their own point of view that they've written themselves. So there's not really a conclusive, like, oh, we came from here, um, for melanin deficient um, people, because this erosion of the truth kind of has left a gap where there's like this time that's just missing, um, and there's not really much you can do about that other than doing the studying. But uh, with neuromelanin or melanin in the brain, and also carbon. Those are the two factors that make up African and as well as Latino or Latina people. They have the elements, the what is the ether, nine ether, I believe is what it's called, that allow this God energy, especially with neuromelanin, because neuromelanin is a complex, like polymetric molecule. It's literally melanin on the brain as a 3D structure, which is interesting. But that is as well as be known, as well as understanding what black magic and white magic is. And I'm just planting seeds today, so we're gonna be diving into all these different, like, soon. I'm just planting seeds. You know how I work here. It's different. But with understanding what white magic and black magic is, white magic and black magic are not defining good and bad magic. White magic and black magic is defining magic that was used predominantly by that type. Black magic being made and used by the black, and then white magic being used as the white. Magic has always been a thing. Anyone can pick it up. It's not to say that one is more powerful than the other, but it's to show the power of words and how we've attached negativity to certain words to then allow that negativity to leech on, and that's what we're needing to release. There could be, if everyone really at once understood that and put it to test and put it to use and no longer judged words by a societal point of view, there would be no true issue. There would be no cross words. But because we have over time construed things and made things more personal and associated and used, like, all these tools that man has made to confuse people even, is different, and it's different intentions, yeah. But white magic can also be black magic if you're going to use those terms. You can ruin someone's life with black magic, I mean with white magic, just as you can bless them with black magic. It is not a actual energy. It is a bodily energy that is producing it. The divine gives you the energy, the body then chooses how it's going to transmute the energy. It doesn't matter whether it's white or black magic, but it matters what ether it's using. If it's using nine ether, which would be melanin, which is of black, of yellow, of red, of brown, of those colors, which is melanin colors, then that is the organic, the original. The white magic, the erase and do over magic, if you will. That's why they have white out, is used to erase. There, I forgot what it was. I think I have it written down somewhere. Yeah, but nine ether by nature is Ish, which is male living being, and Ishal, which is female living being, which is, the duality, the man and woman, the woman and man. To get into the familiarity of saying woman before man as well, that's going to really help. Just the evolution of the change that's going on, because we keep putting man first, and man can't do anything without nourishment. The action can't be anything without that feeling, without the energy behind it. These are things that we all know, but we, by societal norms and by all of us doing it, it then puts the male all that power, and the male can't handle that power. They're not made to handle that type of energy, to birth things. They can only continue and help grow. They can only produce the habitat, not the nurturing, not the love. But with that being said, hold on. The spell asleep named Amon or Leviathan was cast upon blacks earlier. It is a sleep spell of consciousness mind, a conscious mind, also known as the amnesia spell that we're under when we come to this realm. The Tamare, or the true Egyptians, are the Latinas and the blacks, for they have the melanin, which was in the body around that time, around, like, because around the time of Yakub, when Yakub went to, I forgot where it was. I have it somewhere. I have it in my notes, and I'll have to link it because it has, like, the maps and stuff. But when they went to the cave to start the grafting, there was a period where he was seeing and communicating with a higher source. And during this time, he was seeing visions of, as was talked in the Bible, as the golden gates, the Jasper cities, the golden cities, as well as a mothership that spread across the sky. The Egyptians knew this mothership as Newt, but the mothership over time kind of lost its name and just became what we know today as Sky, I guess you could kind of say. But nine ether is the culmination of all gases in existence, which is why whenever people say you are made up of everything, it's because you and have and embody the nine ether, you know, energy. As well as just with nine ether being the culmination of all gases. The same thing happens with color with light. When you combine all the light, you get this brownish blackish tint, which is the culmination of all. And that in itself, not say, you can think however you want. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you research and facts and logic of what's going on. It is how it is. The whole, like, I mean, it's already been broken down, the whole like 666 neuron and how that's been busted. And if you haven't done that, I implore you to look on that, because that is basically just like intro steps to this. But six ether is conscious gas. It's also known as devil or witch if female and warlock if male. This name comes from the Cantonese. Six ether is also known today as Leviathan, Zeus, Lord, Baal, Satan, Jinn, Od, Moloch, Lucifer, Legbar, Beelzebub, and Azazel. Six ether was known as, and is originally known as, Sin, Scythe, Anubis representing death, Tahuti as Hermes, Set, and God. It's also just the evolutionary forces, but they have less gases than nine ether, making them weaker than nine ether. Nine ether produces the coils in the hair, as well. The stronger the coils, the stronger the genes. That is how that is cooperated. That is why, that is how power was associated. The tighter the curls, the more power they were having, in ancient times and Egypt times. That's why you see so many various like solid structure type hair types. When you do this type of research, when you dig this far back, is because it represented power, it represented stability, strength, determination, being able to have that leader foundation. And even if they weren't, in a leader position where it was seen in like a tribal form, they still had ingrained in their own power in a way. But Ether 6 works with Ghost. And it causes what's known as, it causes what's known as Black Death. But what is also, when you break it down, is called Negra Omega, or Negros, which breaks down to Necro, which is Greek, and also Latin Greek, which is Negra Omega with her Black Death. But the impurity done to the Black history to keep these things like suppressed, and has allowed the power of the goddesses and gods to be harvested, happened from the energy siphoning that was going on during slavery through blood and sweat work. Doing those blood and sweat works, those were rituals of degradation. They were harvesting off of that energy. They were building up empires and building up all sorts of businesses, all sorts of companies, off of the energy of these slaves that were putting out this work, for they were gods. What happened was when Yakub finally, I think it was after what, 3,000 years of grafting. I don't have that written down. I think it's 3,000 years of grafting, if I'm not wrong. Yakub came out, and brought his creation back to the Egypts, which is when Genesis starts to happen around that time. Whenever Yakub comes back, that because all Genesis is describing is the evolution of Yakub, is is the making of Yakub. Yakub made one. I think it was Moses, if I'm not wrong, the one prophet of Moses. I think I have that written down somewhere. And if I don't, then I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Okay, I don't think I have it written down. No, the Genesis in the Bible tells of a new world being made. The stories of Yakub during the times of grafting and teachings. Yeah, okay, I do have it written down. Cool. Also, this is seen as well as just understanding that, I think we all have like a general grasp of just Jesus not being Caucasian or white, just because not just the descriptions in the Bible having woolly hair doesn't fit that type of genocode, and also just like the 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 area that they're in, all those things. And that's why whenever Jesus in John 8:44 tells them tells the people of Yakub that they were made from their father, the devil. That's why they said that, because it wasn't one of those things that was natural. It was made from the devil, something of man. And it's not to say the devil is of evil, it's to say the devil is of man. And man will do what man will do if man has free will. That's the thing. That's what makes it evil, is the free will of man. But it's not to even say that like there wasn't any albinoism either, because I found that out too. The first albinoism was Ham's son, Labana, which means white as milk, or Canaan, meaning lowlander, low, depressed, in Genesis 9:25. In there, he has woolly hair, but a cursed seed leading to his albinism. That happened because in of a gene defect from the Arcturians and the Arctur star in the Buddhist constellation. There was a geno dysfunction in that, and that reason that happened is because of a curse that happened to Ham, due to Ham trying to lay with his father Noah. And you can see that in Leviticus 18:7, where his father was laying drunk in the bed naked, and his two brothers turned back and looked away, and he went to lay with his brother. He was then cursed with leprosy. Well, leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease or Ham-Son's disease. That's why albinism, not epilepsy. Goodness gracious. But that's the the reasonings behind that, I guess I should say, the reason behind it. Another example of Ku Klux not what the fuck, I'm jumping there real fast. The Another example of white magic is in the name of Ku Klux Klan, because they use white magic in there. The letter is K. It's the 11th letter in the English alphabet, which is 3 and 11. You do that, 33. 33s of degrees, also known as the Masons. 3 plus 3 is 6, which equates to 6,000 years that ended in 9/9/99, so September 19th, 1999, and that was and the last attempt of control was at 6/6/1996, or the March Against Fear. And looking up those things, and how the suppression of blacks were happening, and you can see it through history, and it's not like to focus on it. I don't, I'm not trying to like, I'm just going to avoid that altogether. But it is important to know these things, because it's less about race and more about the gods and the goddesses and gods being separate on this realm. Like the fixings that need to happen can happen, but there's been such a disrupt. Like there's all these brothers and sisters just killing each other for no reason, and it's due to all this anger that's been generated from this disturbance force of Yakub. And the story of Adam and Eve, I believe Eve, not Eve, but Lilith, excuse me, Lilith. It was Lilith, I believe. That was white, which is why Adam turned down. I have this down somewhere, and I'm trying to like connect with my guide, but they're kind of letting me just do it by myself because I have all these notes right now. Um, but let me see here. Fuck. I'm scanning through these notes. I have so many. I'm sorry. Uh, but yeah, the melatonin comes in two types. We'll talk about that for a second too. There goes in palamin, which is red to yellow, and emulayan, which is dark brown to black. In the Egyptian hieroglyphs, you'll see people painted as red and yellow and blue, and that wasn't done as like an artistic choice. That was done as as an actual one for one depiction of what they look like. The original skin colors of people weren't, what we see now. It was a rainbow. We weren't divided. We were whole. We were whole light. Fractured light, which we know and see as rainbow. I mean, whole light. Excuse me. Whole light is what we see as rainbow light. For we can see the whole spectrum. It's holy, which is why it comes in a spectrum and not just two. We have allowed ourselves to become so rational that it's affected our DNA and genes. We've put ourselves to sleep as well with not only just us, but the hands, the puppets, the masters above, the reptilians, the reptoids, all of them had their hands in it, as well. But it's as well as us still not remembering the full spectrum of who we are. We want to stick to one version of what we are, the what we deem the best version, and not embodying all of it. Because we used to be red, yellow, blue, green. Fucking, you can look back. We used to be black and brown. Like, you can look back in the Egyptian text, and you can look back in hieroglyphs and all sorts of like cave paintings. Like, those colors were there for a reason. The Egyptians had all sorts of colors. They had lapis lazuli. If they really wanted to like make fleshly colors, they could have. They had mud. They could have used mud for the browns, or they had all sorts of things that they could have used for these colors. And it wasn't just because, oh, I'm bored, let's just make you green. Like, no, it wasn't even like a symbolic thing either. It was genuinely the skin tones of us. Over time, there was a period of time where we genuinely had two heads. It was before the split. We understood that we were a duality. We understood that we were two in one. The more egocentric we became, the more singular we became, the more self-centered, the more self-focused we become. And we kind of have to use that same energy of being self-focused and turn it and transmute it. That's all we can really do at this time. Other than like, because I don't want to say that because that's just weird. But like, instead of like elimination, you know what I mean? It's best to just do the inner work. It's the best solution is truly to just heal from these things and heal from the traumas. And that's why it's so important. It's like, because the reincarnation is not going to end until a power transfer happens. It's just the curse of the amnesia until one of us wakes up fully and all like wakes up everyone. It takes one person to fully do the act of God for a change like that to happen. But Jakub's real name is Wallace Fard Muhammad. And that's why in the Bible, it says that he has a name, but a name that's unknown to man or unfathomable by man. However, it's said, and it's because Yakub couldn't even fathom his name, but we now know it as with Wallace Fard Muhammad. And Fard means the beginning, the birth, or a religious duty, so to speak. But there's a need to dive into these things and understand the Bible in the sense of it being history. Yeah, like, yes, it's a spell book, but it's a history book. It teaches you the spells. It doesn't just put one on people. It shows you the spells. It shows you the full truth, the full spectrum. But there's a need for observation and less like a blind truth. You know what I mean? Let me see here, because we have some more stuff to talk about. I have it all written down. I gotta like make PowerPoints with this at some point to keep it flowing better. But we'll worry about that later. I'm trying to see what I haven't already talked about, and I've kind of like covered it. Um, but it's like, okay, yeah, with Adam and Eve as well, and the sea people. But anyway, with Adam and Eve, excuse me, with Adam and Eve, whenever Adam and Eve were in the garden, Eve was talking. Whenever it said a snake was talking to Eve, that wasn't just a normal snake. That was a reptilian. The where's it at? Because it's somewhere here. I'll find it eventually. There it is. Okay. The type of reptilian that came to Eve was Remusayan, which is also, it is the species that came to talk to Eve and told them about these things. The Archons, that I always talk about, that we're going to be doing a really like in-depth thing about. I'm getting a bunch of research, but the Archons, they come in two different types, or mainly seen two different types. Is the reptilians, whereas the Greys, the reptilians aren't seen on the 3D, but they use vessels as hosts. They're the ones at energy cloakings. They're the ones doing blood rituals. They're the ones like doing body fluid things. They are, they a lot of them are buried underground and they pop up and they wait to come across. They wait for the empty vessels, the ones that are unaware, to just latch onto them and then continue this cycle to go through. But the gray archons, they create turmoil, fight wars, and they also eat negative energy. So in a sense, these grays, they do the job of clearing and eating this negative energy, but at the same time, what they will do is they'll put you in these loopholes during times of depression, or in times of stress or worry, or during the dark night of the soul, to keep you attached or drained, because they need that energy to feed off of. These archons, though, especially the reptilian archons, are always afraid of Bel, because it brings upon spirit, and that's the one thing that they are taught to be afraid of. That's the one thing that they were told to stay away from, was spirit. They were told everything that they know. They were brainwashed and convinced of one way of being, despite there being an entire another entire like other species of people. Um, you know, but it's important to especially if you feel like you are having reptilians around you, or you sensing that energy, just keep bells on you. Because again, they're just taught to fear. They're taught to fear any sort of spirit, any sort of ghost, which is again six ether. And six ether, I think I already said it, is also known as God, in that sense, where it changes. It's a transmutable one, but it doesn't have enough energy, or gas, to be able to transmute fully. It's able to get halfway. The demigod, essentially, if you want to think of it in that way. Um, but around the time of Yakub, the world was split 70-30, 70% satisfied, 30% dissatisfied. And Yakub was part of the 30% dissatisfied. Um, but around because it, like, for a full change to happen, it needs to be 100% uh you know dissatisfied. It needs to be 100% for a change to come, for humanity to change. Which is again why there's so many people waking up. There's so much destruction going on, because it's almost pushing the dissatisfaction to the point to like making a change. But since with so many people waking up and putting this power in, and realizing who they are, this authenticity, this being true to yourself, this spiritual energy that's coming back after this essentially like inflation and bubble pop of chaos and negativity, because the reign has been over. It is now just a time to rise above and remember how big you are. Because it's on this realm, it's weird. We think things that are big are small and small that are big. But we don't, we don't consciously know why, but it's because things on the macro are on the micro. So these small atoms, these small molecules and things make the biggest changes despite the biggest people in the world not really doing anything. That's the change that needs to happen. We've become inverted where we've took our power and subsided it and allowed ourselves to just kind of squabble and almost that like it's like we end up fighting each other more. We end up not only just fighting each other but then like fighting who we're supposed to be helping, ignoring the cause that we're supposed to be getting to like sacrifice ourselves for other people or feel ashamed because we're taught to feel bad anything like out of the norm or unnormal in school. Like education centers are just to teach you how to feel bad about yourself. Like they just teach you this is what your grade is. This means you're worth this much. You're not guaranteed a job because you're not worth anything to us in our eyes. It's all these degrading things that we suffer from school, and not even just to mention the fact that a lot of the times in the school in the schooling systems whenever you're learning about even anything it's just learning about the negatives. It's never about the positives. The only positives is when there's bloodshed on one side, on the American side, which by now I think we should know that America is Egypt, and if you don't, definitely do some research into that because the Egypt that we know as Egypt isn't necessarily Egypt. America is more of the Egypt. We've been, this is like all the artifacts, the pyramids are here, the tombs are here. It's like it's something that has been in front of us for a while, but we haven't noticed. We've been on the Holy Land, which is why. Well, I say we by the ones that are in America, but the Holy Land as well. You know what I mean? But it's time to rise and take the power back from this land because the power is generated from this earth and it's not as hard as you think to take that power and generate it anyway because all they do is stick a piece of wood in the ground and put and fucking boom, they just got electricity. They all they have to do is like put wood in the ground. All you have to do is connect to yourself. They they toxin the air, they put toxins in the food, the water, the clothes, everything to this point where we're shut down from our senses so that's harder to even repair our system. And also recommending if you go outside to even sunbathe, hold your palms up, your palms in the soles of your feet. Well, the soles of your hand, I should say as well. They're receptors for the sun. They are there to help you receive. We're plants. We can photosynthesize. We take in energy. We transmute it. It's these things that we aren't aware of. We're trees. We communicate through roots, through lineages. You know, it is the fact of the matter. We need to be able to realize our position a bit more, and especially like the goddesses and gods who are in this power. Allow yourself to stand more brightly. It doesn't even matter how bright you think you shine. There's a bit more in you, and there's something about this change that's about to happen. And again, I feel like it's something about like a union. It's either like a union with some sort of knowledge or a union with a guide, or it's not like a physical union, but it's a spiritual or like mental union that's about to happen. I'm feeling it. Like it's been happening for a while, which is why I've been kind of skittish about even talking about much, just because the energy's crazy. Um, but for right now, that's all I have. I'm gonna do a lot more. I'm doing a lot of research, a lot of reading right now on things. So we're gonna focus more on just who uh Yakub was, any sorts of information we can get on Yakub, on his life, his backstories, things of that nature, and we'll break it down, figure out why Yakub did this, and then, go forward from there. But we're gonna start, um, anyway, we're gonna start covering over all of these things. We're gonna start cloaking over. Why did I say cloaking? Because that comment. Oh my goodness gracious, bro. We're gonna start covering over these things more in depth and more slow. Um, I might do a stream every other day just to give me a full day of like digging down and getting information and channelings and meditations and things. Um, I'm gonna do that. Child, I do not need you projecting onto me. That's all that's happening. Goodbye. I don't care. I wish you the best, but you're not gonna come in to me and start projecting some weird bullshit. You can keep it. That's yours, not mine. Have fun with it. Love you to the moon and back, though. People weird. People weird. They don't want me speaking the truth. They hear the truth, they get mad. The reptilian part of their brain clicks and they gotta fucking go hunt out and see what's going on. They got demons and entities, fucking all sorts of shit on they don't even know about yet. But we're gonna go over all this soon. Well, soon meaning like literally like on Wednesday. I'm gonna take Tuesday to do studying. We're gonna have like just regular videos and stuff. But on Wednesday we're gonna go back in. We're gonna talk more about just Yakub, getting to know the mind behind it in a sense. And it's not really to celebritize or anything. It's just simply to know the what was going on, like the facts of the things, because these things aren't talked about and they need to be known to even know how to fix a spell or to break it or to like break a hex. You need to know the reason why. You need to know why it was even a thing. What is it? Like, yeah, it's a fucking thing and it has an effect, but why? Why was this effect made? What was the intent? More than the intent, what was the purpose? Because the intent and the purpose are two different things. You can do things with purpose, but have a different intent. And you can change your intent throughout the time as well. But like, what all was going through the minds that were able to even more like condense this down to make it even harder on these people to keep this shit locked up and keep it grounded. Like, it's coming out already. If you're paying attention, you're seeing this shit come out like rapid. Like, everything is coming out like crazy. So just keeping attention, keeping an awareness up, because the laws of the universe say that the more people are aware, the more you have to bring. The more this is talked about, the more it's going to be made present. The more it's to keep karma away from them. I tell you it all the time. The only reason these people aren't getting hit with karma is because it's in our faces the whole fucking time. If we aren't looking for it, then how the hell do we expect to get our justice? Our justice comes from our inner work, from our perseverance, from our seeking of the truth. And once we found the truth, that puts pressure on them. Oh, well, they found that out, and they're telling that to those people. Why do you think people get shut down for talking about shit like this? They know that time's up. It's the year of Aquarius. They're just trying to save their asses. They can't do this no more. It's over. Game's up. It's time to rise up and get this shit back to how it was supposed to be. Not how it was supposed to be, but to bring things back into balance, because things are like out of whack. Like, and it's not to say that the world's not supposed to have any issues, but the issues aren't supposed to be this catastrophic to the point where the majority of the population is suffering. That's supposed to be the minority. It's the other way around. It's how this world's been fucked up. We used to be so together and close, so they got us all twisted up inside. All we got to do is go inside and untwist ourselves. Um, but yeah, we're gonna talk more about that soon. I love all of you to the moon and back. I'm excited to start this. I'm gonna be a little nervy talking about it. I'm not like confident in my teacher skills yet, but the only way to fucking get there is to start doing it. Am I right? So here we are. Um, but at least teaching skills on this subject, I should say. Um, but regardless, I love you all to the moon and back. I'm excited to jump in on this with you. I know a lot of you have been waiting on this. I've been feeling the energy, and it's just like I've been waiting to build the energy up for myself. But I receive it, and I got you all. I tell you all the time. I feel the energy. Like, I'm not like some fake tapped in person. Like, I feel the request that y'all give. It's just something that I talk to my guides with, and if it's a clearing, I study and I try to get as much information, because I don't want to half-ass things, but I also like need to know my limits. You know, I'm also trying to figure out how I teach as well because I've never taught. You know, so I don't know how to teach because the way that they teach you how to teach is brainwashing. I don't want to brainwash anyone. I want to teach. I want to educate. I don't want to force any ideologies on people, you know what I mean? So finding a way to do that as well is just kind of weird. So it's part of the experience. It's rewriting. So I thank you all for the patience, but I got you all straight up. You know, people, because it's something I've been fighting with a lot on this channel ever since I like started. I blew up really quick, and people started saying I was copying people, saying I was fake. It's just like, nah, man, I'm real. I'm here. It's just I we all work in different ways. I work a little slower because I want to make sure what I say is right. I want to get all the viewpoints. I'm a fucking Libra, bro. I'm sorry. Give me a minute. Listen, when I study, it's the Libra in me, bro. I gotta get all the shits. I gotta get every side of it, even if it's something I don't agree with, because there's some truth in it. You know, I gotta know something about it. But regardless, I love you all so much. I will see you all on Wednesday. Of course, you know, videos are going to be uploaded, shorts are going to be uploaded, but expect another stream on Wednesday. I don't know what to title these. Uh, if you have an idea for it, comment it. I'll definitely, because I read the comments and stuff too. I literally like I pay attention a lot more than a lot of people think. I read all the comments. I'm up in it because it's like it's my energy, it's my place. It's like I want this place to be a safe haven, an education center, a healing center. It's just like it a positivity fucking gravitational area. Like we need more of them. But yeah, I'll see you all then. If you guys have any like requests as well, send them, you know, telepathically, spirit wise, you know, send the crow by, do whatever you gotta do. I'll get the message somehow. But regardless, we're gonna start digging on it. But yeah, as well, I want to mention this is before I get off as well. I have a lot of updates. I'm if expect a change in the divination that I do, and it's not, it's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be doing different types of divination because it's just like tarot's good, but tarot there are like runes. Reading runes are so much better than reading tarot. I would rather read runes than read tarot. You know what I mean? Because runes will tear you to shreds, to shreds. Tarot will fuck you up, but like different divinations will get you. I'll say it that way. But I love you all so much. I will see you all later on Wednesday. Take care. And have a blessed day. I love you all so much.